Yep.
All right. Good morning. My name is Firefighter Ken Swinford. This is my Fire Instructor 1 presentation. Before I begin my presentation this morning, I just want to start off by I scheduled a time for this class, utilizing my chain of command as well as the topic. Got approved through my company officer and through my battalion chief. I was able to secure this training room here at Station 12 for this presentation. I prepared for you a lesson plan as well as a presentation, and that will include some practical application as well as a written evaluation. My target audience for this topic is particularly new firefighters. Here at Renton RFA, we've been hiring a lot of new people over the last 3 years. A lot of retirements going on. Our department's been very young, and I believe that knowing just the very basics of how to use a map book is an essential skill. And also, as technology is advancing, more and more firefighters are becoming very reliant on our mapping applications via our cell phones, and sometimes we get away from the mapping basics. So this is just a good review refresher for journeyman firefighters and senior firefighters and other junior firefighters that aren't brand new. Let's see. I set up an indoor classroom for this learning environment. For this to be the most comfortable, safest, most practical learning environment for this type of class. I've attempted to minimize distractions in this classroom setting. We are deficient in a few items, but we're just working with what we have. I've set the room temperature to be a comfortable temperature. In case of emergencies, say a fire alarm goes off, the exit out to the front door is our quickest access. We can also go out to into the app bay and out the app bay doors if necessary. The bathroom is just down the hall. There's one right down the hall on the right side, or there's even the full-on men's bathroom just down the hall. Take your first right and your immediate left. This is a classroom style, traditional classroom style for this class, as I believe it's what fits this topic the most and for this particular learning situation. And in my class, I'm going to address auditory learning styles, visual learning styles, as well as tactile learning, those being some of the more prominent learning styles. Beforehand, I have set up all my audio-visual equipment and prepared everything for you. I've gone through it to make sure it all works. I've also provided pens and paper for writing notes, as well as map books for when we're going through our practical application. You can open up your map book and practice with that. Okay. So I went through the style presentation I'm going to give today. We'll address the visual learners, auditory learners, and tactile learning. I went through the material and made sure that it is accurate and was approved via the chain of command. And today we'll use Renton RFA map books as our learning aids and teaching aids, along with pens and paper. All right, so let's begin. So today's presentation, how to use the Renton RFA map book. Good morning, my name is Firefighter Ken Swinford. I've been with Renton RFA for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years come the end of August. Full-time employment. Prior to working for Renton RFA, I did volunteer in Snohomish County for about 2 years. I provide my contact info. If there's any feedback that you can give me at the end, feel free to copy down my email address. Shoot me an email if there's anything you feel that I've left out or that I could add to this presentation, just to make it better, more enriching for learning. Go ahead and do that. Okay. So our agenda today is we're going to review the anatomy of address. I think going back and kind of reviewing what the sequence of the address and how that affects how streets, the direction of how streets run, whether they're east-west or north-south, helps us locate addresses quicker in a map book. City versus county. Our response area includes both city addressing and county addressing, and they're different. So we'll go over that. We'll discuss map boxes and how they can bring everything together and make it efficient to find addresses when we're getting dispatched. We'll do a little hands-on practice, a little skills evaluation, and then a written examination at the end. So feel free to take notes as we go through today's material. Okay, so why is this information important, and why did I feel like I should present on it and teach about it? It's essential knowledge. Obviously, we need to know where we're going. We can't help anybody if the tones go off and we don't know where we're going, we can't get there. So knowing how to use the map book is essential skill for us, answering the call to the public. Also, this is also a good review, like I mentioned earlier, review for experienced firefighters, and maybe we've kind of gotten away from the map book because we've got a lot of mapping apps. There's 2 different ones that we can use, and they've gotten better over the years, gotten pretty accurate, but at the same time, they still make errors. Sometimes they'll take us down the wrong street or the wrong house. Whereas the map book is not going to have as many errors, should have any actually. They're fairly accurate. And also, maybe you never really learned how to use the map book. It's become kind of something that maybe our JTC program doesn't emphasize as much as it used to within our department. So sometimes you just never learn how to use map book very well. So our objectives. Today we're going to use the aids provided. Just going to do the very basics. This isn't a comprehensive mapping class. This is just how to use the map book efficiently. So we're going to locate a map box, locate street address, and locate a house. So real basic, real simple. Items provided to you, and what you'll need. You have your map books in front of you. I said and a pager. You guys have pagers on your hips right now. I've also got some pictures of pagers, and we'll discuss the real basics of how we find our address on the pager. Okay, so let's start with the city address rules. So the city 100 blocks run away from the city center, being this downtown Atlanta. Named avenues or street names, they run north and south. So if we're on Wells Avenue, we know that street's going to be running the north-south direction. Numbered streets, say at Northeast 3rd, that's going to run east to west. So you can kind of tuck that away in your brain housing group. So if you see that address, you can have a general idea when you're looking at a map what street, which direction the arterial that you're looking for is going to be going on. So city's fairly basic, it's fairly gridded out. The county gets a little different. So the county is all based on the central point being the city of Seattle. So county streets numbers grow as you head south and east of Seattle. 100th Avenue Southeast is the divider between south and the designator southeast designator. Avenues run north-south and streets run east to west. So that's another good little factoid when you're looking at your address. You see Sunset Avenue, and you know it's going to run north-south, or if you see a street number running east-west, or if you see a street, it's going to run east-west. If the designator is south, southeast, or north, northeast precedes the street number, that means that street is going to run east to west. If the south, southeast, or just designator in general, I wrote south, southeast, that could be north or northeast. If it follows a street number, then that is going to run north-south. Does that make sense? Okay. So kind of tucking those little factoids away, that can help you locate the address within the map book quickly. So we'll break down the anatomy of the county address. So the address example out here is 10810 Southeast 176th Street. 108, that's first 3 numbers, that designates the cross street. The last 2 digits designate the house number or the building number. And when we see the Southeast 176th Street, we know that identifies that street runs in east-west direction. So again, when we're locating, we see that pop up on the pager, get the map box, knowing that, if anything, for me, this helps me the fastest is just knowing that street is going to run east to west, and so I can start gridding it out by looking for vessels or arterials in that direction. So county example number 2. I should need that font a little bigger. 12927 156th Avenue Southeast. 129 again is a cross street. 27 is going to be the building number, and 156th Avenue Southeast. So we see the designator is after the street number, then we know that that street's going to run north-south, in the north-south direction. Make sense? Okay. Now we'll go down to the city address. So 232 Wells Avenue South. So the first number indicates a cross street, being the second being the cross street. 32 would be the house number or building number. And Wells Avenue, we see it's a named street, so we know that street's going to run the north-south direction. And then south, designates the quadrant. I'm not going to talk too much about quadrants, but especially with city addresses and our map book is broken down into quadrants. But your company officer will go over that with you more in detail as you go through your JTC mapping objectives. I just felt that we'll keep it pretty basic today with this basic anatomy. I think of the address, it can help you locate items in the map book pretty efficiently. Okay, city example number 2, 2201 Lind Avenue Southwest. So since there's 4 numbers in this address, the first 2 are going to designate the cross street. The last 2 being the building number or house number, 01 house number, and then Lind Avenue, since it's a named, again, another named vessel, it's going to run the north-south direction. And then when we see the direction designator for a city address, that's going to help us identify the quadrant within the map book that it's going to be running. Any questions on that? Okay, so map boxes. I think the map box within our map book helps kind of bring things together, helps us identify where we're going to go pretty fast. And each address within our entire jurisdiction or service area is in a specified map box. We utilize, so this is actually an old example of our map book, but you can see the pages, the sections are broken down 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, all the way to 1300, and those will be our map box designators. So when we get a page, like this is just an example of a page, address comes up Northeast 27th Court and RF 621. So when we get a page on our pagers, some of you guys already know this, hit the big button over here on the right hand corner, and then you hit it twice. It shows dispatch aid, gives us the run number, and then it starts with the address. Like this last one that I went to was 4455 Index Avenue Northeast, Renton between Jefferson Avenue and Northeast Index Place. So I have on the picture here an example. It's just the second page, is the second set of information on the pager is where we're going to get our map box number. So right here, RF621, that indicates our map box. So we would just simply go to our map book, find the 600 tab, open that up, and on the sheet, there's 2 map boxes, top and bottom. Top number is a smaller number, and the bottom number is a larger number. So it just starts off with 615. We're just going to turn the page until we find 621. Okay, there we have it. And then we'll look through this map box to find the corresponding address. So I've got pictures of it here. Kind of tough to see on this monitor, but again, example of our tabs for our map boxes. Here's the map box. You can see it says 621 right there, and then I zoomed in on finding Northeast 27th Court. So you guys are able to look through and find that spot. All right, so we know it's a Northeast designator. So another little factoid. When it comes to quadrants, 405 is a divider between east and west within Renton, and so meaning it's north of the city center, it's going to be north. But if we're northeast of 405, if we're east of 405, it'll be in the northeast quadrant. So we know Northeast 27th Court was the address that popped up on that page. It's going to be on the east side of 405. This big arterial right here being 405. We can go right to there. Just knowing, again, those directional markers helps us find things quicker. Any questions with that? Okay, so hands-on, let's do a little practice run. So this dispatch, actually, let's practice this. So with your pens and paper, maybe this screen's not as large as it should be, but we're looking for 1912 Queen Avenue Northeast. It says dispatch is also between Northeast 19th Street and Northeast 21st. The map box number is RF 674 East. So once you start by opening up, trying to find map box 674, everybody do that, and then try and locate that address, 1912 Queen Avenue Northeast. When you find it, just let me know, and I'll come check. Dawson, how you doing? You find it? Yeah. We found Queen Anne, and we didn't find 1912.
Find 19th across the street.
Yeah, 19th across the street. That's right there. Right there. So, across the street being there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we're going to do next is a practical test. So, how about Ben? I'll have you go first. So for this, Dawson, I'll have you step out into the app bay for me for a moment, if you would mind. Perfect. Okay, so Ben, for the practical test, I'm just going to have you find the map box, find the street, find the house number. So I typed it up here because it's kind of tough to see on that page, but this is a page from a call I went on last week. 2201 Northeast 16th Street, between Blaine Avenue Northeast and Camas Avenue Northeast, and the map box number is 672, RF 672.
Got it.
All right, let's take a look. Perfect. Yep. Yep. And Wayne's right there. That's kind of funny, but Cam's is over there, but this is what came in the dispatch. Perfect. Nice job. Okay, so I'll have you close up your math book. Go grab Mr. Dawson Bain. Oh, he's coming. So I'll just have you step out, and we'll let Dawson get a chance to give it a go.
Let's see.
All right. So, Mr. Bain, 221 Northeast 16th Street, Renton, between Blaine Avenue Northeast and Camas Avenue Northeast. Map box is RF 672. So, if you would, locate that address for me.
What was the cross street? Lane?
Between Blaine Avenue Northeast and Camas Avenue Northeast. Perfect. Yeah, I know it says Camas in here, but I don't know why it says
It
that.
should be
but-
between Aberdeen and
Yeah, that's just, and again, that's sometimes that's the errors we get with our dispatch. So, good job. All right, go ahead and grab Mr. Garrison. All right, gentlemen. So, next, what I have prepared for you is a written quiz. So, there you are. There you are, sir. And go ahead and begin. Let me know when you're done, and then we'll grade each one. Good. Okay, so, and one more time, Dawson, if you could step out, I'm going to grade this with Firefighter Garrison. And we'll go to evaluation. All right. Perfect. Excellent. Did a great job. 100%. Okay. Ben, if you could grab Dawson for me real quick. Let's go over his.
back to the building.
All right. And perfect. You nailed it. Good job. All right.
Thank you.
All right. If you could grab Ben for for me?
Please, sir. Enter.
Okay, so conclusion for today. Obviously, as technology advances, we've got various dispatching apps that give us also mapping aids. And I myself am guilty of becoming pretty reliant on those. But getting back to the map book is a good skill to review and practice on a shift basis, shift by shift basis, because our map books are never wrong, whereas the apps can be wrong. Even though they've gotten better, I've noticed they've gotten better, in my short time here, but they still make errors and still get us wrong. So it's an important skill to be able to at least bare bones from a dispatch locate the address and figure out where you're going. But again, today was not designed to be a comprehensive mapping course, but just the basics of once that dispatch comes across our pager, being able to find the address in our map book just to get us going. And so that's my presentation today. You guys have any questions for me? Okay. And again, if you have any feedback or anything you feel you can, or that I can do better, any thoughts on that, feel free to shoot me an email. And since you guys pass everything with flying colors, I'll have you sign the roster, the class roster today that we will submit to the consortium for training, and I'll also upload this up into your Absorb accounts. Account is this month's, part of this month's, or should I say this quarter's block training in firefighter fundamentals. All right, gentlemen. Pass. All right. Thank you for your time.